Hello, and welcome to the Love Your Work Life podcast. I'm your host, Elissa Shuck. Whether you're going for that next promotion, looking for a job, or making a career pivot, I'll teach you how to navigate it all so you can have the career you want. This is episode 83. Remember at the beginning of the year. Could be the calendar year, could be your birthday, could be some kind of beginning, an anniversarying of something. But remember on that day when you said to yourself, this is the year I'm going to make my career move, get that promotion, finally get out of this toxic, awful workplace. And then here we are at some point down the road from when you said that to yourself, and you're still there. You haven't moved. You haven't gotten out of that toxic workplace. You are still there. If that's you, this is the episode for you. Because getting what you want isn't something that should just always be living out there in the future somewhere. And there's reasons why it is, and that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. It feels like a big project, right? It feels like a problem. But listen, problems are meant to be solved. They are always solvable. There's always an answer. There's always something you can do. So if you haven't gotten what you want yet because you feel stuck, here's a big one right now. You feel guilty. There's lots of people getting laid off. So you might be thinking, who am I to be thinking about pivoting to a new industry? Who am I to be thinking about getting that promotion? I should just be grateful and satisfied that I have a job. And so thinking about your move makes you feel a little bit guilty. Because shouldn't you be happy with where you are? Such self-sabotage, my friend. Maybe one of your thoughts is, I don't know, or I'm not sure, or I've never done it before. I've never been a manager before. There's nothing in my career that supports me moving into management. I don't have management results and metrics to put on my resume. Dangerous thinking, because you're just living in the past, and your past does not determine or define your future. But you might be living back there in the I've never done it before, no one's going to see me that way. Let me tell you a little something right now. If you have the inkling, if you have the desire to be in management, if you have the desire to lead, that is something to invest in, my friend. My guess is you already possess the skills and the talent to lead. Now you just have to look for those leader-ish things that are going on right now. All right, that was a little bit of a sidetrack. Let me get back on track. Here is the solution to getting what you want. Here is the solution to finally making that career move, finally getting out from under that narcissist boss. It's so easy. Make a decision and take action. So easy. I know you're thinking, how can it actually be that easy? But it is. So how do you do it? How do you actually make a decision and take action? Well, I'm going to teach you how in, what do I have here? 5 steps or so. First one, start with your thinking. This is so important. I love this quote by Lou Tice. And it is this: we move toward and become like that which we think about. Our present thoughts determine our future. I was fortunate enough early in my career when I worked at Nordstrom to be part of a course for career development. And the course was by Lou Tice. And I learned early on, oh my gosh, so my thoughts actually create my future. It was revolutionary. And it's something that has served me for my entire career. You must start with what you're thinking. You must get curious about the thoughts that you're having about your career move. All that stuff I just read, yeah, but I'm stuck and I don't know, and what if no one takes me seriously? Those are not thoughts that help you move forward, because you need to feel a certain way in order to be motivated to take the action. Right? Make a decision, take action. Make a decision, take action. It's kind of a rinse and repeat. But you have to feel something good. You have to feel motivated. You have to feel excited. You have to feel connected. Whatever it is that motivates action, that feeling, those are always created by thoughts. So you've got to start paying attention to your thinking. Realize the connection your thinking has to your future and be very, very deliberate about your thought life. So what should you be doing with those thoughts? Aim for possibility. Possibility comes from your imagination, not from your past. If you're always deciding your career future based on your past, you will never get there. I'd never been a retail buyer before. So how did I know that I could do it? Well, I started thinking about the possibility that I could do it. I started opening up my awareness and watching, observing, listening to, looking at buyer kinds of things, hanging out with the people who were already buyers. What were they doing? You redefine yourself by what's possible instead of your past. I would have never stepped into management if I didn't visualize myself doing management, if I didn't think it was a possibility for me. So I want you to be hanging out in possibility and to be thinking about what's possible. To ask yourself, if I really believed this, what would be possible for me? It's so, so powerful. Possibility also ignites desire too. And you really need to have the combination of desire and possibility about what's next for you in order to make a decision. And I know, here's another thought. You may think, oh, but making decisions is hard. No, it's not. When you're stuck in indecision, you're just choosing not to decide. Let me say that again. When you're stuck in indecision, it just means that you're choosing not to decide. A decision is actually very easy. It happens in a split second. Now, you could have a lot of drama leading up to that decision, but the decision itself happens in a moment. What would it be like to just not have all the drama associated with a decision? And listen, decisions about your career and what's next for you and leaving that awful toxic environment, it feels huge because it is huge. It's huge because it's your life. Your life has meaning, has value. So of course, the decision would feel huge. And that's okay. And when you realize that it feels huge, not because it's difficult or not because it's anything else other than this is my life. But isn't your life worth tackling decisions? And tackling decisions without excuses. Listen, excuses, I'm too old, I'm too young, I don't have the skills, I don't have a degree. All of those excuses are just a way of avoiding decision and letting yourself off the hook. If it feels huge, feels overwhelming, you're probably going in the right direction. But if you keep falling back onto excuses, what you're doing is you're letting yourself off the hook. You are giving up your power to some other entity. Do you want to give up your power to make your career move to not having a degree? Do you want to give up your power to make your career move to not enough time? Or I don't know how? Please, please, please do not do that, my friend. Do not do it. You're never stuck. Here's how you can make a decision. You make a decision not by thinking about pros and cons. You make a decision by thinking about your reasons. Make a list of reasons. Reasons I would say yes. Reasons I would say no. Reasons I would stay. Reasons I would go. And whatever list of reasons you like better, go with the list that you like better. It will set you free, I promise. And the cool thing is that if you change your mind later, that's okay too. Just love your reasons for changing your mind. You have new information. All of those reasons are okay. Love your reasons to support your decision. And once you decide, action is the proof. You might think you've decided, but if you haven't taken action, you haven't actually decided. Action is the proof that you've made a decision. Confusion is always a lie and a way to avoid taking action. You see how desire, decisions, and action are so closely aligned? You have to start with the desire, which comes from possibility. You have to believe in that possibility enough to decide to do something about it. And then you prove that you've made a decision by taking action. Here's what's so cool. When you focus on where you're going, the evidence that it's happening now will be there. The imagination you need and the ideas for the continuing actions will also be there for you. It's so cool. It really, really is. Here's another trick that works so well around that. What does your future self think? Your future self actually knows how you did it. That's the cool thing. So when you ask your future self, well, how did I make this happen? The ideas for what to do, how to do it, what to engage with, all of those things will start to fall into place. Because when you are feeling, and when I say living from your future self, starting from your future self, it's an ongoing relationship with your future self. Tapping into especially how you feel having already accomplished that career move, already getting out of that toxic place, achieving that leadership role. You have done things in your life, you have accomplishments that make you feel really good. And I challenge you to transplant that feeling of accomplishment, of it's done, It's there. I got it. Transplant that feeling into your next move. Transplant that feeling into your goal. That's going to help you stay focused on it. When you focus on where you're going, the evidence that it's happening now and all the resources and tools and everything you need to get there will be available to you, will be present for you. I'll acknowledge that what you have may be good. It may be a role that has served you well. You may have a sense of satisfaction and fulfillment associated with that role. But if there's a little bit of desire, if there's a little bit of longing, if there's a little bit of, man, I wish I had something more, if there's a little bit of that in there, it takes courage to leave that for something better. Because you know what you want is better. You know what you want is more aligned with where you see yourself. It takes courage to let go of good enough and go for great. Go for the ultimate next role for you. Here's another clue that you know you're on the right path. It feels a little scary. It feels kind of awful. If it feels awful, you know you're showing up for yourself. If it feels uncomfortable, do it anyway. Because often discomfort and chaos are part of growth, are part of the next phase of our life. But you can do it. You can do hard things. The other note I wrote about this feeling awful thing is because I am a recovering people pleaser. I'll probably be a recovering people pleaser for my entire life. What does people pleasing feel like? Feels good. I think that's why showing up for yourself feels kind of awful. What would you have to do to please yourself in this moment? What would you have to do to stop making excuses and actually take a step, make a decision, and take some action towards a thing that you really want to do? I want to challenge you to focus on your future and think of the best case scenario. What's the best case scenario for you in getting that new role? And think about that. Challenge yourself to think about your best case scenario for maybe 5 minutes every day. And when you're done thinking of your best case scenario, write down 5 things you can do to get closer to it. Find the thought that creates a feeling that initiates action. Think back to times in your life where you were a little bit fearless and you were taking action. You were taking action because you felt a certain way and you were feeling a certain way because you were thinking a certain thing. So go back to that. Hack that for the decisions and the actions that you want to take right now. Whatever it is you're thinking, 2023 can be it. You can start acknowledging that desire again, because chances are, after a certain amount of time went by, you probably pushed it down. Acknowledge that desire again, make a decision, and take some action. Here, right now, set yourself up for the new thing you want happening in that next year. All right, you know I'm always for you. I'll talk to you next time. If you like this podcast, I invite you to visit the Love Your Work Life website at elissashuck-careercoach.com. On the site, you'll find all the information you need to work with me one-on-one, as well as get access to my courses, Job Search Field Guide, and The Art of Stellar Interviews. I also have lots of other great free and highly accessible resources so that you can have a job search that's stress-free, gets you in front of people, and most importantly, gets you that job offer. I can't wait to help. I look forward to seeing you there.